A new movement working to realign leftist politicians to rival Nigeria's two dominant political parties and power brokers in 2023 has been set up by top political actors. The national movement, formed by prominent political figures like Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who is a former presidential aspirant, defense minister and ex-governor of Kano State, and former sports minister Solomon Dalong, including my guest today, Buba Galadima, promises to save democracy and rescue Nigeria from the hands of corrupt, incompetent politicians. But as the presidential election draws closer and pledges of change grow louder, how exactly does the national movement hope to reorganize the polity? And why so late in the game? I'll be joined in the studio by Galadima to x-ray the issues and the magic wand that the group thinks it can use to change the game to its advantage. I'm Somna Sambo, and this is the Arise interview. Now, there's a new political movement in Nigeria as the country gears up for crucial general elections next year, called the National Movement. Its founders say it will save Nigeria from disintegrating and break the dominance of the main political parties, the APC and the PDP. Now, the figures involved reads like a who's who of Nigerian politics. There's ex-Kano State Governor and former presidential aspirant Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former sports minister Solomon Dalong, and the former maverick politician and prominent figure Buba Galadima. He was a leading supporter of Muhammadu Buhari in his repeated leadership challenges, helping him to eventually secure the presidency in 2015. But they subsequently fell out, and he moved on to support former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in the 2019 presidential campaign. Well, let's take a look at the formation of that movement.
The mission of the national movement is that, I quote, Nigeria should be a land of justice, freedom, and equal opportunities, where all students shall aspire to achieve their lifetime goals and ambitions, to live in peace, prosperity, and happiness. We shall utilize our rich and diverse cultures as unique and rare foundation of strength and build a nation where no person is oppressed under God.
All of us are aware as Nigerians that things are extremely below expectation, and we need people of conscience, patriotic Nigerians to come together, to put their heads together and make sure that we provide solution, not only agonizing from our safe havens. Things have reached a stage where men and women of strength and character must come out, show their face, and be trusted by Nigerians, because as I speak to you, no Nigerian trusts anything that any of our leaders have said, because they have failed us woefully in all aspects of human life, and there is the need to make sure that something positive is done.
So what is Buba Galadima hoping to achieve with this new national movement alongside his political friends? Well, I'm glad to say he joins me now in the studio to talk about these issues. So glad to have you again. Alhaji Buba, let's talk about this national movement. There's a confusion within the polity about what you actually mean. Some are calling it the third force, some are calling it a movement. And from the rhetoric we heard from you, there are plans to upstage the APC and PDP. But we all know that you are not a political party. How do you intend to do all of this?
Thank you very much, Malam Babo. I had several encounters with the different media, and there is this confusion that they cannot even differentiate between a movement and a political party. They cannot differentiate the chaff from the grains. But I will use this opportunity to put everything in perspective. That is to say that what we did yesterday was to form a general movement for the peoples of Nigeria, including you.
Very interesting indeed.
Irrespective of political affiliation, religious, tribal, or sectional issues, because we all feel the pain of what is happening in our country. I just came back from Egypt. Sometimes you may even want to hide your passport at the airport that you are a Nigerian. We have fell so much below the average line of human endeavor in all respects, such that men of conscience, patriotic Nigerians, must come together to change the narrative. And this is what we have tried to do. The national movement is a movement and a platform for that cause. We have to change the way we are thinking. If government is not doing enough, we will help it security-wise, economy-wise, employment-wise, and advise. But all the issues we are raising, which we want to address, cannot actually be actualized by a movement. But the movement will bring in people so that we look at ideas from every angle, such that when we sieve and crystallize that ideas, we can pass it to a political platform who have the right to present people for election, canvass for votes, and when they win election, they now implement those issues that we have agreed upon in the national movement to address.
Very interesting submission, but a lot of people like to say that the only way you can actualize some of these ideals is through a political platform. And you have said that you're a movement. Are you planning to fuse into a political party at the end of the day? Because, I mean, if you want to push the APC or PDP away, then you just have to have a political party that you either align with, because it's late for merger now, or you do something else. What do you make of that?
That is also another issue. It's not late for merger. It's not late for the formation of a brand new political party.
11 months to the next general election?
Of course.
Because the next election is February 18, 2023.
It's because we are a country not governed by law. That is why you are saying so. And it's because you don't even understand, or you refuse to understand.
Because INEC
the
says
Constitution,
there's no room for new
which
party
INEC?
formation.
Is INEC the Constitution of Nigeria? They are not. The Constitution said Nigerians have the freedom to assemble, to associate, and political parties could be registered by INEC once they submit their application within 30 days. If they are not registered, they should deem themselves to have been registered. And a lot of Nigerians don't understand this because they are afraid. You can't attack INEC. They are the empire. It's because there is no rule.
Well, that's because we also have a precedence. In 2013, when the APC was being formed, and you are aware of all of this, the then PDP government made several efforts to scuttle the formation of the APC.
You said they made efforts.
But eventually...
Did they scuttle it?
But, well, there were efforts, and eventually...
that answered your question. They made efforts.
So you are still hopeful?
They can make efforts. But according to the law, if the judiciary is not under their feet, we can be registered. And people of courage can challenge and invoke those sections of the Constitution that have addressed this. And if INEC says no, let them come and debate me on a platform where all Nigerians listen to us and look at us. And let them produce their evidence as to why they cannot register political parties. The Constitution of Nigeria did not say so.
Well, I really admire your courage, Buba Galadima. But let's talk about how you joined a lot of patriots like this in 2013, 2014, and you helped to bring a new political platform called the APC then, which ran to town with a message of change. And here you are discountenancing what the same APC has done. Aren't you afraid that lots of Nigerians will say you are here with the same message again? Why should we trust you?
Why not? Nigerians should trust me. On this platform, maybe you are not the anchor. Everything that I have said on this platform have come to pass. Everything. Take, for example, and let me make a correction first, that I did not start from the recent times. I started from 1978. And because of what you may agree to call my bad politics, because as far as Nigeria is concerned, an honest person of impeccable character like me is not a good politician. It is the man that will tell you this is black now, later on 2 minutes, he changes and tells you it is white, and all of you clap for him and agree. I am not like that, and I cannot be like that. I'm nearing my grave. What do I fear?
Do you think President Buhari is that sort of person?
You ask him, or you ask your body, because your body feels.
I'm asking, because you helped to sell President Buhari to Nigerians.
Yes, now, and when I discovered that
he's not against him in
when I discovered that he was not the person I was selling, I had the courage as Nigerian to come out and say, look, please wait, Nigerians, don't take that route. I have discovered that it was not correct, and I was proved right. Wasn't I?
He won again.
What? Because that is, well,
because you supported Atiku,
also,
and Atiku didn't win.
Atiku won. When we had an alliance between the RAPC and the PDP, I told the PDP gathering that, look, we will win. We will win. And we won. But there was no commander to uphold the territory we have conquered.
Well, that's not on record that you won. What the books at INEC says is different from what you're saying.
Well, I also know, because I'm a Democrat. INEC is the empire. Whether what they did was right or wrong, whether what the judiciary did right or wrong, but in the court of public opinion, they knew that we won the election. Because I can tell you, I have evidence of people whom were taken outside this country to vote, and ballot papers were brought in planes. That is why they refused the tendering of those documents.
So why
that is why they refused to do a computer scanning of the ballot papers. That informs you. What were they afraid of?
Well, the courts actually worked against you
what
too.
What do you think?
Sambo, actually.
Sambo, sorry.
Yeah. So let's talk about this new national movement.
Correct.
What's the new narrative that's different? Because I heard you saying change. And I think that if you go to town with the word change in 2023, I doubt if a lot of Nigerians will queue behind you. What exactly are the transformational messages you hope that will sync with Nigerians, that will make Nigerians come out and say, look, Buba Galadima and his friends this time around means something good for us. Let's queue behind him and his friends.
Let me tell you something. We have tried many scenarios and it failed us. We tried religion. This man belongs to my religion, therefore we must vote for him. Even in religion, they look at what sect. In Christianity, they can tell you whether you are Redeemed, whether you are Anglican, you are Catholic, or you are whatever. In Islam, they will tell you whether you are Izala, or you are Tariqa, or you are Qadriya, or you are this. We tried all that. Did it assist us in building Nigeria? I'm asking you.
Well, I'm glad you're actually saying this, because you are the conscience of the nation right now.
Thank you very much. Just stop there. Yes. We tried ethnicity. We tried tribe. We tried section. We are still where we were.
So what are you trying now?
So now, we want to try competence. We want to try who can do the job. We want to try the pedigree of what one had done while in public office. There is no time now for pick and choose. If we want to salvage and rescue the country, no country in the world ever developed with a strong leader, not strong in terms of strength, to muzzle you like kill we. No, the strength of thinking, the strength of vision, the strength of goal. We must try somebody with a vision, with a foresight, with a goal where he wants to take Nigeria to be, and we should look at his pedigree. while in public office? What has he done? Did he work as a unifier? Did he work to develop his immediate constituency and beyond? Did he support education? Did he support infrastructural development? These are physical things that are verifiable.
Now, is that person Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the former
Well,
governor? Because a lot of people are linking this group to his presidential aspiration.
If you study his pedigree and you find out that he qualifies in all this, why not him? He's a Nigerian. That's what the Constitution says.
And you think people like Atiku that you backed in 2019 wouldn't turn their backs against you for turning your back against them at this crucial moment? Because we hear he's also coming out.
You said we backed them, so we owe them, or they owe us.
Very interesting.
If it is Kwankwaso that can win this election, why not? If Kwankwaso has performed as governor of Kano, or as a defense minister, or as a member of the NNDC, or as a deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, as a senator, why not him? The issue is not how close you are to me. After all, in your opening remark, you said I was one of the closest people to General Buhari. Of what benefit is his presidency to me or to the people of Katsina?
Well, he actually appointed your daughter into the into a position in the presidency. Eventually, she had to leave after those issues that happened. I mean,
what are the issues?
Well, she couldn't actually meet up to some of the things that were being said to her. That, I mean, how could she be in the presidency working for President Buhari, and you are attacking President Buhari every now and then? And she had to leave.
I thought that
maybe you should tell us more about.
I think that is your view. Not her view.
Well,
not
to
the people in government.
A medium, she granted an interview to a foreign medium, and that's what she said. I mean, I listened to her in Hausa language.
Was she really working for Buhari's government?
Well, she was appointed by
Okay, let me
Buhari.
tell you just a small story. That daughter of mine that you know is about 40. She's married. She has 3 kids. She's a woman of her own. Can my sin visit her? Can her own visit me? What you should ask, what did she do to merit that appointment?
Yeah, I mean, she was very clear in stating that she did a lot, and I mean, a lot of recommendations were positive.
She was the leader of the campaign of the entire FCT because she was the only elected officer of the APC as at that time. She used her resources, the ones of her mother, and even my own, to promote the general. So she not only deserves to work in the villa, she should be one of the super ministers. And she is more qualified than anybody that you can tout in this government.
Yeah, I mean,
she has 2 first degrees, 4 master's degrees, and ACCA, she's doing her 5th master's degree now.
Yeah, I mean,
which of them in this government can? So, forget about my daughter. She is Zainab. Elections were held here in FCT last week. She was the only person that won her council seat for the APC. What reward did she have? After all, yesterday night, 38 people met. I mean, less than 26 people met. The APC governors plus the vice president plus Buhari. And they appointed for this party, APC, national chairman, deputy national chairman, and national secretary. They appointed.
Well, the zone, we actually hear the zone. And
Look,
we have been hearing all sorts of stories. But that is not in public notice. So you tell us, who was the person that President Buhari endorsed?
You will wait, when I say something, just wait and see now.
Okay, very interesting. We want to hear those names.
And incidentally, these people that they appointed, some of them even wanted Buhari's head when we were campaigning. Because they came to meet the powers that be and asked for permission to kill us. This is why I was on record on BBC to say that when we go out on campaign, I go with my likafani. describe the lekafani to Nigerians in English because I don't understand that. Maybe your Hausa is better.
Well, you do, because I mean your Hausa is stronger than mine.
No. So lekafani is the clothes where they wrap Muslims. Yeah. I said I go with my own. Buhari goes with his own. Just because of that person. And he instructed that all the chiefs and emirs in his state should never give us audience. Whoever gives, he will dethrone him. And we didn't meet any of them. Today, he is Buhari's #1 person.
For even the APC him national chairman.
I don't know. I didn't say which position.
Okay.
But he was the one that now Buhari is anointing to take one of the very official top positions in the party. And those of us who have worked for 15 years went through deprivation, denial, persecution, interrogation, arrest, detention are outside. You think God will just sit down and watch them? And look, you know God has a way of catching people. You do your injustice, justice wait for you at the corner.
Do you feel betrayed by President Buhari?
No, why should I? If I do that, it's God that made him to do whatever he said he did to me. Am I not feeding? Have you been to my house? At least there is no day that 50 mouths did not feed in my house. Go to my house now. There is no time that you cannot find 20, 30, 50 people in my house. I have no pension. I have no gratuity. I have no business going on. I don't go to anybody's office. I go to the farm, 85 kilometers away, to feed myself, to feed my family, and send my children to school.
Well, you must be one of the lucky farmers in the country who are not attacked by bandits or all of that.
Before I go, I pray. And I ask those of you who are near God to help me pray. And God knows my intention. This is why I'm still alive. I went to Oka 2 days ago. I was in Oka. In the night, I left Oka to Omoalu village, about 45 kilometers from Oka.
The Anambra State capital.
Anambra State capital. Police, army, vigilante in all the villages on the road, no fuel, looking for fuel. We arrived where we want to go by 11:30 midnight. We finished what we were doing at 3 a.m. We left back to Oka in that same condition. I came to the hotel where we rented. The key got broken. We had to sleep on chairs.
Interesting development.
And now, all for Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said you're one of the conscience of the nation. Now, let's get back to the national movement. How do you think that you can form structures between now and 2023 that will help to galvanize and send your message to the interior? Because, I mean, lots of Nigerians will tell you that some of these campaigns are usually city-based, and there's a shorter time before the next election.
When is the next election taking place?
February 18, 2023.
What is today?
February 23rd.
23rd.
2022.
So you are now telling me that we have 1 year minus 5 days.
Yeah.
So 1 year minus 5 days is not enough to campaign around Nigeria.
What's the magic that you'll do?
Do you know who I am?
Well, I do. I mean,
I want to beat my chest. And today let anybody come out and contradict me. Except Alhaji Sule Ahama, that the two of us formed the CPC, wrote the constitution, wrote the manifesto, and when we came on board, we held our convention to elect officers on the 4th of January 2011. And we were only 3 days to the closure of nomination. And we did nominate candidates for all the positions in the country. And we won the election. It was taken away from us.
Well,
so I am used to this.
That's because you had President Buhari who had an 11 million behind him from 2003.
To 12.5, please, not 11.
Well, 12.5 because
let me, just don't worry, sir.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Don't worry, sir. Don't worry, sir. We may have a replica of General Buhari. You just said that one of the conscience of the people. Meaning that if I speak on BBC now and come to Arise TV to talk, whole Nigerians will speak. You called me because we launched a movement yesterday, which is sending weavers across the country. Isn't it? That's why you called me to explain. It means that if we go for election today with the TNM as a political party a logo if we had shown yesterday that we can get votes.
Do you plan to run for the presidency yourself?
Am I not a Nigerian? If you can give me money somewhere, why not? Or an AK-47.
No, you don't actually need that. You need to convince a lot of Nigerians.
So if it is convincing Nigerians, you know that I am in a position to do that.
Yeah, Madam Buba Galadima, I will just ask you to hold on there while we go on this short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You're still watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue this chat with Buba Galadima. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview, where we speak to the newsmakers as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things around the world and featuring the voices at the heart of the conversations. I'm Somna Sambu. Now, we've been talking with elder statesman Buba Galadima, who is one of those championing the national movement, a conglomeration of several persons, politicians, and all of that, technocrats who hope to realign and then push the APC and the PDP away from governance. And they are saying that they are really prepared for the next general election in 2023. Well, I still have him here with me as we continue this conversation, and I want to find out what the national movement's view is on the issue of zoning. The calls for a southern presidency is going on in the APC and PDP. Some northerners actually saying that, look, let's get someone based on merit, just like you have said, and not based on zoning. What's the view of the national movement on all of this?
You've just said that I said, let's get people on merit.
I said northerners. I mean, based on the rotation policy that we have in the country, politicians agree that once power comes to the north, it should go back to the south in 8 years. And the north has had its 8 years with President Buhari, and that will terminate next year. Don't you think it's actually fair for the south to have the presidency next year?
I don't want to go into these primordial sentiments.
Interesting.
What you should ask me, which Nigerian can take us out of the woods? We can no more afford to be doing trial. I told you we tried religion. It didn't work. We tried tribe. It didn't work. We tried section. That is zoning. It didn't work. So why can't we try something which has a universal expression?
Isn't federal character, which is provided in the Constitution, zoning?
No, it is not.
Because the federal character
No.
regulations that we have and laws.
The federal character is protecting people like me.
Interesting.
Yes. I have 8 children with master's degrees in my house. Because I'm not connected, they can't get a job. So they are saying that those of you who speak and they listen, cannot put all your 8 children there while my own 8 is living at home. There will be no peace. And we have seen it. Because Borno, Yobe, Sokoto, Northern Sokoto, Zamfara, Northern Katsina are not represented. That is why those idle people took up arms, and we are all in trouble. So why can't we bring a competent person that can help accommodate all of us? I told you that Buhari is the president of Nigeria. He is a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. Most of us speak Hausa. We are from here. Of what benefit is his presidency to me?
Well, haven't others benefited from President Buhari?
If they did, me, I say me. I'm not talking about you people who dine with him.
Must it always be you too?
I'm a Nigerian. And benefit meaning his not appointment, not money. Can I safely now wake up in the morning or 11 o'clock in the night, as I used to do, and go to Kaduna?
Well, we've got the security services.
You don't know?
Their best.
Do you know how much I bought $1 yesterday for my daughter? 650 naira per dollar. And he met it at 157. So of what benefit is it to me? Recently, I used 40,000 naira to fill my car. Why?
That must be a Jeep.
No!
That can only be afforded by elites like you. I mean,
no,
not a regular car.
It is not. It is. But how much was I buying liter?
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite right. And it's only when you have an SUV that can...
So of what use is it to me?
So do you think President Buhari is sleeping on duty? Is that what you're saying?
If the people of Basari, Kankara, Jibia in Katsina, if Ojukwu, whom their people fought during the civil war, is president and he's giving them security, you think they will not vote for him?
So you think President Buhari is sleeping on duty? Is that what you're saying?
You ask yourself, not me.
And what sort of backroom channel have you been able to send?
Do you need any back? But he applied for this job according to what do you call him? This Tinubu's friend.
Ayo Adebanjo?
No. The former governor of Osun.
Rauf Aregbesola?
No.
Bisi Akonde?
Bisi Akonde. He said he applied for the job
during his book
and
launch.
he was interviewed and he was given the job. So let him deliver. You shouldn't pity him. How many times did he try?
Yeah.
And even when he cried and said he will not contest, he contested again. So why should you pity him? He owed it a duty to us that he should deliver.
Yeah, but as an elder statesman,
which elder?
You should try to send some messages through the backroom channel. I mean, this is someone you're very close to. You mean that
nobody around him now watches what we are doing? Can't they tell him? If there is nobody that watches what I am saying, then the man and his team should get out because they are not worth being there since they don't know what is happening. Here, look at it. Hilton, Villa, less than 1 kilometer. And they don't know what I'm saying here.
Do you think that the North is so angry with President Buhari that he did not represent their interests to the extent that they would want to present another northerner to succeed President Buhari in 2023?
No, you see, the issue is that I don't want us to go into all those pyramidal sentiments. I had a discussion with somebody yesterday, very vicious, and I asked him, this morning, Chioma Daniels and Tunde Thompson of The Sun, I had discussions with them. And I asked them, this democracy, starting from 1999, is how many, to Buhari's end of tenure, how many years? And they told me 24 years. For how long did the North rule? I asked them. None of them will answer me. I said for 9.5 years. If Buhari finishes, the South could have ruled for 14.5 years. So who deserves to present another candidate from your justice thinking?
Well,
if you are looking at zoning, I don't believe in zoning. Even Buhari's daughter, if she is capable, or Yusuf, can run for Nigerian presidency if he has something to deliver. And if I am sure that he has a pedigree of performance and that he has done what I can show you, Sambo, I can support him.
Very interesting indeed. Now,
so I am asking you, who deserves to present a candidate? From your perspective, not mine. Well, I don't believe in that. And is zoning, which part of the Constitution of Nigeria told you about zoning?
Well, if you have actually put the entire years that the military was in power alongside the democracy we've practiced since 1960, you can't run away from the fact that the North has had more shots, about 40 years in ruling Nigeria than the South.
So you have been discussing with the military before they take over?
Well, they were exercising presidential powers as military heads of state.
No, that's not what I'm saying. The military is only a government to themselves.
Definitely, but you can't separate the ethnicity or the political calculations
Why can't,
of the country.
This is because
we are always exercising presidential powers.
We are always talking about primordial sentiments. That is why up to now we are not one. That is why up to now we are where we are. So let's use other adjectives. Now, all those ones we tried and I said we failed.
So what's the national movement doing that will shift us away from
all of this? We want to create a platform where people can speak their minds and we reach a consensus of what is good for the country.
What, in your view, is the consensus that's good for the country at the moment?
I have just told you that we have tried all primordial sentiments. They did not work. So now let's try justice and competence.
Some of my viewers may describe you as being academic there.
Me? I'm down to the earth.
So when you say justice, fair play, and all of that, yeah.
Because now is there justice when governors of APC and the president and vice president sat down and elected a chairman, elected a deputy chairman, and elected a secretary, and handed it over all to PDP people. Now the PDP and the APC are one and the same thing. That is why we have to flush all of them out with their support. Because they only represent themselves. And look at members of the National Assembly. When they returned, when the president refused to assent to the electoral
Act
bill,
Amendment Bill,
I went to tell them that, look, veto him. Veto him. They said, oh, they will do that, they will do that. Then I came here and told the world that the man will, first, he will not sign, because I said here while he was overseas, here, I said that he will never sign that, and if he signs, let them chop off my head. Did he sign? Now, when he returned it to them, I also said, even if they correct what he wants and put what he wants, now they remove direct primaries and put consensus. Now it will work against the members of the National Assembly. Do you know why? Because they have handed over the party to the governors and the leaders of the party in states. They determine who is the consensus. Governor can sit down in his bedroom and list all the candidates for all the positions in his state, and it is consensus, because the consensus has not been defined. So all these people making noise in the National Assembly, they are out. Let them come to the third force.
Well, isn't that the reason why the National Assembly tightened the requirements for consensus, which the governors are unhappy about? For you to reach a consensus, all aspirants must come together and sign that they agree.
Now that they did consensus, now it's okay. Now that they did consensus yesterday night in the president's villa, did they call the other the chairmanship aspirants?
Well, that's because the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is not yet a law.
I think you are a good Anthony for the president and his party.
Well, I'm only playing the devil's advocate here because, I mean, these are the facts that we have.
Have seen you, because I can see your face looking very bright.
The only reason why that can't hold water based on the regulations that we have right now is because that law is not in place. If it was in place, there's no how, based on what you have alleged, President Buhari and these leaders will sit down at the villa and elect people.
Let me also tell you one allegation. That one I have said, and it will come to pass. You will see that the people they appointed yesterday, I know them.
And I asked you to mention them.
Except one of them. All of them were Buhari's enemies, except one of them.
So why don't you just tell us the names?
No, I wouldn't tell you. But the Buhari will know when those people get there. It will visit him.
You think they will betray him?
They have betrayed him before. Anybody who worked against you in the morning, be rest assured, if he comes in the evening and say, he's just playing on your intelligence.
Interesting. Now,
no, please. I want to land.
Okay, go ahead.
The president said he will assent to the bill with reservations. Do you know what those reservations are?
You tell us, because we have
all the gains this electoral act has gotten when he signs it, because you pressmen and CSOs, civil society organizations, are putting him on stage. So he will now satisfy you, sign the bill, and send all those reservations back to the National Assembly for ratification.
For an amendment.
An amendment.
And you think the National Assembly will amend it?
They will do that, and they are just putting their knife on their throat. They will slaughter themselves.
How? How do you mean?
Because they will succumb. They have no lever to do what is right, even if it will harm them.
Interesting submission. Now let's come back to the national movements. I mean, I've seen some prominent names like Murtala Inyako, Lucky Benedion, Achike Udenwa, Bapa Bichi, Rufai Hanga, Senator Grace Benz, Professor Atahiru Jega, and all of that. Wouldn't you be accused of having so many failed politicians coming to unite together? That's because some of these people couldn't win elections in the past.
I think you look, it's okay. You said senator, former governor, and you said they are failed politicians.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the APC is saying.
No, listen now, just listen.
Go ahead.
It's okay, the APC can say anything. It's democracy now. After all, you are seeing my courage. You didn't know that I'm exercising my democratic rights to say what is in my mind. And if I have no office and I can say this, APC is qualified to say what they want to say. So they were all failed politicians and they became senators, they became governors. You think anybody can be senator, a governor, or even a councillor without touching the life of at least one person? And you know that in democracy, one vote makes a difference. Let me also protect them. The national movement is not a political party. They are men and women of experience. If they can bring their experience in government and outside government to put into the consensus of what the country should be, why should we reject them as Nigerians?
And why don't you have all those recommendations and forward them to President Buhari of the National Assembly to do something about that? Aren't you, I've heard you saying about the insecurity in the country and all of that. Shouldn't these recommendations be sent to the National Assembly for something to be done urgently?
Why should you
if the president
why should you be abusing,
why should you
be abusing Buhari?
Well, no one is abusing him. I mean,
you are abusing him now. You are saying that he doesn't know what he's doing.
No. I mean, you have said that you have better alternatives.
That. It's okay. Let me tell you why you are saying that. Buhari was a military commander, director of the SNT, a general officer commanding in Port Harcourt and Jos. He was head of state. He was governor of Northeast. He was minister of petroleum. He was head of state. He is now president. And so you are telling me now that with all this and information available to him, he doesn't even know that people are being killed left and right all over Nigeria.
But you said your group has better ideas that will help the country. Isn't it part of patriotism for you to forward those recommendations to the government in power?
So you mean that all the things I'm talking here doesn't make sense?
No, that's not what we are saying.
So if it makes sense, why doesn't he pick from what I'm saying and use?
Very interesting submission you've got, Buba Galadima. But you must know, as an opposition politician, that sometimes
I'm not opposition. Well, I'm helping Buhari and his government.
Well, you are a former chairman.
Because I'm telling him what nobody around him could look at his face and tell him.
And what do you think?
And my parents told me that your best friend is the man that will look at you straight into the eye and tell you, Buba, you are wrong.
And why do you think people are afraid of telling President Buhari the truth?
Because they chop from him. I don't need his job.
Very interesting indeed.
Even my daughter that is working for them, you know, the other time during the INEC FCT election, they refused us to sleep in my house. There were over 1,000 people in my house. They drank my water, they used my toilet, they chopped the remaining food I had, all in the name of APC. Yeah, and yet, APC considers me as their enemy. And my wife, my daughter is the only person that delivered her council seat.
Yeah, you must be a popular politician and elder statesman. That's why they are coming close to you. I mean.
In fact, what you should do, help me tell the General Buhari that he must pay me for all my services and for all the services they come to take from my house.
Because they still consider you to be Buhari's friend.
We are not enemies. Are we enemies? Oh, he told you.
So when last did you speak with President Buhari?
Do I need to speak to him? I see him on the television.
I mean, friends should be able to meet together and have a chat, share notes, and all of that.
He doesn't need
you should be interested in helping your friend to succeed in governance.
He has capable hands that advise him wrongly, and he can't understand.
Oh.
Just like these appointments he made last night, he's just using knife to stab himself.
And that's why you should stand for him as a friend.
I'm telling him now, let him now inquire and let him remember in 2003, in 2007, in 2011, in 2015, in 2019, who worked against his interest that he's now patronizing.
Now, since
why do we all have to be in one party? Does it help you?
Well, it's not actually good for democracy. I mean,
thank you very much.
It's not healthy for democracy. Now, having supported the People's Democratic Party and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in 2019, do you hope to do so since you have said that the national movement is not a political party?
No, because the PDP itself, just like it is former self, and now it is twin brother APC, has no intention of winning any election.
Including all the reforms they've done, having a successful convention.
Successful what?
Well, that's what the party actually says.
And I mean, it's what they said. Now it's not what I said or the people say.
So you think the PDP is not prepared for power?
They are the number one unjust group
So now,
and they have agents in states as their leaders who are working for the interest of other groups and other people.
like the APC?
Yes, working for the APC. After all, the APC and PDP are the same thing.
So you think
After all, I told you now that all the people appointed yesterday by Buhari to emerge at the Zoom conference of March 26 are PDP people.
interesting.
Because he has no confidence in those who promoted him from 2002 to 2015.
How about those CPC elements that we have?
They are nowhere to be found now. I have a good son who is contesting for national chairmanship.
Is this Saliu Mustafa?
Yes, I have a good son. He was the deputy national chairman of the CPC. Ordinarily, AMPP had chairman twice, AC had chairman several times. It should be the turn of the APC. So if they are just, it is Salisu Mustafa that should be made the chairman of the party. And he's a young man, vibrant, and he doesn't need anything from them. God has blessed him.
And what do you make
And
of
his farm.
What do you make of Tanko Almakura, who was a former governor under the CPC?
He has some disabilities. He has some disabilities.
Well, I mean, we have
Natural,
the National Disability Act. So, I mean, which protects him, and so we shouldn't have all of that counting against him.
Thank you very
now,
much.
But
if Mustafa is not there, I could vote for him.
Interesting.
Because Mustafa is a senior in party. Mustafa gave him the platform to run. That's why I'm supporting Mustafa.
Governor of Nasarawa State. Then.
Yes.
Interesting. So what kind of difference do you think that the APC will make as it tries to steer itself into?
They can't have any difference because they cannot even midwife a safe, transparent, and just transition. And go and write it. If I'm alive, you will one day tell me you are right. If I'm dead, you will tell the world that Mr. Buba Galadima has said so.
You think the national movement can qualify to be a third force that can upstage the APC and the PDP? How
just
confident
wait
are you?
and see in the next 1 month, you will see the party that will win the presidency of this country.
Interesting.
Because, you see, the arithmetic is simple. The APC is now relying on consensus. And you know the governors have 90% of the members of National Assembly are enemies of the governors. So they will disenfranchise them. They will disenfranchise the house, this thing. And people who naturally believe that they are qualified to be governors or to be senators, but because they are not close to the governors, they will not have a chance. So they will all leave. You saw what happened in Kebbi. The APC didn't win one council seat on adult suffrage. They sat down in government house and wrote the results.
Well, that's an allegation that is not.
Allegation
is not, supported by facts. I mean, INEC.
I will tell you which INEC, which of the INECs, which INEC,
have all.
Which of the INECs?
Alhaji Buba, you don't have facts to actually back this, you know.
You know, because you are running away, you don't want your station to be closed. But I know the pedigree and the genesis of this your station. So they will not do anything to you. I know it's their own.
Well, that's an allegation that you cannot prove. And on the issues of this national movement, as we try to move away, I want you to distinct from what you used to call the Reformed All Progressives Congress. I mean, you were once chairman of that RAPC. What happened to it? I mean, has it fizzled out?
Reformed is there. I will be glad if the third force, invite me to chair their party for some time. You will see what will happen in this country. I'm sure I will recruit you.
I mean, I love your confidence. Considering how difficult it is to mobilize Nigerians when you don't have money, do you think that the national movement has a chance to
Buhari had money to fund his project to become president of Nigeria or fund all his elections?
He had the likes of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu there. And I actually wanted to ask you that question. What do you think of a potential presidential ticket being won by Bola Tinubu in the APC?
Why shouldn't he? After all, he has put enough to become candidate. And after all, I know that they promised him. I learned they promised him. And today, if that agreement fails, you think God will not visit the APC? That's why they are making mistakes now.
So they are reneging on the promise
Of course
to Bola Tinubu.
they've almost reneged. If they do that.
Yeah, but you said that...
If they don't listen to what I'm saying and they go ahead to renege, they will lose.
But you said that whoever wants to choose a leader should choose that based on merit. Do you think that if you put all merit on ground that...
merit I'm talking about is qualified. Merit for the APC is to whom you are close.
Very
not merit in terms of performance.
And what do you think also of...
merit in the PDP is likewise like Hassan and Husseini. Kainde and what do you call it? The other
Taiwo.
So that's merit for their side. But merit for my side is conk achievement on ground. So what did you do? So how many primary school classrooms you built when you are governor? How many secondary schools did you build? How many colleges of education did you build? How many polytechnics did you build? How many universities did you build? How many people did you send overseas? To how many countries? How many hostels did you build in other universities outside your state?
Right. So you
how
think,
many universities
you think Tinubu should actually get the ticket?
Who?
You think Tinubu should get the APC ticket
if he has
as
got
a
those
reward?
If he has got as a reward,
Based
as
on
a qualified Nigerian.
Okay, what do you think of Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, who also coincidentally comes from the Tinubu political family?
So if they don't fight and kill themselves, how can we win?
You think he should step down for Tinubu?
I told a BBC interview that what is going to happen in Western Nigeria, that the weight of Akintola and Awolo will be a child's play.
Operation Wetia, which happened in...
will be a child's play.
Okay, very interesting submission indeed. We must thank you so much, Alhaji Buba Galadima, for joining us on the Arise interview.
You have not finished now?
Well, unfortunately, we do not have enough time. I mean, it's always a pleasure having...
then next time, don't call me.
No,
if
I
they
mean,
call me, they shouldn't bring you.
No.
Because you are cutting on my time.
No, well, we've already expended 1 hour, and we just have to go to allow others to have a say on the channel. We must thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you. And we just pray you continue to be the conscience of the nation and give the right advice to Nigerians, and we hope the nation will make use of that advice. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Somna Samuel.